Alright, welcome to today's episode, number 6, and we've got the iron farm fully completed. That was the last guy that we needed to put in here, which is really awesome, and I realized I made a little bit of a mistake. I forgot to let this guy sleep first, because I got too excited about this idea. Anyways, it looks like it's all working, though, which is really nice. So we got 4 layers, as you've already seen in the last episode, we had 2 of them, and we've got 2 more. And it's not like super fast, but it gets the job done. It does it well. And of course, if we go down here, we've got this system down here. It's a job as well, making sure that everyone is getting iron and then splitting it between everybody. And of course, these two are sorting all of the goodies, which if I, it's just, look at that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I did actually change the organization of this a little bit, because I noticed these guys are having a little bit of trouble actually clearing out this chest. And so I decided to put the iron bars and the chains in the middle instead of on the ends, because these guys always default to going to this chest first and then this chest next. And so I was kind of playing with their AIs a little bit and how they pathfind. And so I said, well, let me put the items that are going to have the most quantity, which will be chains and iron bars, in the middle, so that way if we get like tons of it in here, they'll be able to go and put it away quickly and not have this like back up. And it looks like the plan's already working. Really, really nice. Now, if I can get out of here, there we go. Now, you may look around and see the complete state of everything. Absolutely smack everything in. Throw this chest plate away. Not throw it away, but throw it in here, because I don't need it anymore. We can worry about the redstone bits later. I need to decorate this place. It's looking kind of ugly. I ain't gonna lie with you. Got bland walls. I got nothing around here. It's looking nasty out here. And another thing I started to do, and while I was just messing around, if I can get out of this hole, is webamo. Big box. Big box. Yes, this is the actual building that's supposed to go on here, and this will be the first building of our mega base. And yeah, it's a giant square on top of a little guy thingy bobber here, which is interesting. So yeah, we're gonna have this bottom area be made of mud, which I do have right here, and then the big square is gonna be made out of bone blocks, which is why we needed that big moss farm making bone blocks, is because we need it for these buildings. If you recall from episode 1, the theme and style of the base is going to be brutalist. Now, what that means is very bland buildings, like white buildings, not a lot of detail to it. But there's still things we can do to make detail, like adding dirt and grime to the sides, making building not just a square, but having cuts and stuff in it, or places for windows, and all of that good jazz. So I got a wire work here of everything, which is looking very, very nice right now, and very professional, having wire working, wire framing for everything. But while I was building and getting this all sorted, I had a little bit of a visit from Val. So let me show you what that's all about.
We were going to do the shulker store thing together.
Hold
It
on.
was me and you, right?
You were very... Okay. Sorry, repeat that. You were very quiet on my end.
Where you were gonna provide wood.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do have that here. If you want to actually follow... Oops, sorry, push the mic. If you want to follow me, I have the wood farm, and it actually is hooked up to automatically craft chests as well.
Okay. I was thinking that maybe I could just buy some wood from you or like get reimbursed because I have been selling a lot, but I haven't gotten any wood from you.
Yes.
So
Ooh,
this would be half the diamonds that I've gotten, roughly.
very...
I've just been buying wood from the shop and making chests.
Okay.
So I was
Yeah.
thinking if maybe I could get a few stacks from you or whatever, just to, I guess, make up for it or something.
Yeah, if you want to follow me, I can go ahead and show you where I have the wood farm, and then you just feel free to
Okay.
take from it anytime and leave some diamonds every once in a while. Down below here is where all the storage is, and then this one right here with the barrel is going to be your automatic chest crafter. Currently empty. But it produces chests pretty quickly, and then all of the other resources get.
Okay. So, does it do all the wood into chests?
Uh,
Or just
Currently it's
whatever you
set
put
up to
in?
do that. I have been thinking about changing that so I can use it for other crafting, well, and like have a toggle switch. But this was like
Yeah,
a
'cause
day. Like once I built it, had Denali help me build this system, and then I just left it. I need to come
okay.
back to this project.
Okay. Yeah, I was after more of like logs instead of chests because I kind of need some for building as well.
That's fair. Yeah.
So,
You can
but no,
just take away like the hopper, and it'll all go into the barrel above.
take away this hopper then.
Yeah, that hopper right there, and then it'll just go into the barrel. Yeah, so it'll go into the barrel. That's where it auto sits. Let me show you where the lever is.
I'll put the hopper in the bottom left chest tier of the big area. Oh, creeper.
Oh boy.
Well, that's a big womp womps right there.
Okay, it's all hoppers by the looks of it. No, I don't think it got any redstone.
Well, that's fine. It now gives me a reason to come back here and make this look prettier. And light it up. Alright, well, the lever is this one on top of the...
Yeah,
The
those
lever is
things
just
are
this one here.
sneaky.
Right on top of the observer. Just flick it.
Okay.
That turns the system on, and then it'll hopefully just go. And then if you need bone meal, do you know where my moss farm is? A big old...
No, I don't.
Okay, I can show you where that is, so that way you can get unlimited bone meal, just in case if this is empty. Actually, I have no idea if it has any.
Mm-hmm. And how would you, I guess, change it to different trees?
Right, this is only another tree farm, so you'd only be able to swap it between warped and
Okay.
that. As I said, I built this specifically for like chests and other wood crafting,
Okay.
not just general wood. But it'll be
Alright.
useful for the shulker farm.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, I guess if I need warped logs or something, I can come snag a few. Oh, I see. Okay, it pushes them out and TNT will blow it up.
Currently not working right now, though.
Okay, something moved.
Okay, it looks like it's going now. Yay! It still works. Okay, good. I was afraid it was broken for a second there.
Cool. Okay, you get shroom lights out of it too, it looks like.
Yes. So
Okay.
that is a benefit, is you get shroom lights and all of the other warped bits, which can be really good for like forest decorations and stuff. Because I know some of them you can place them all on grass. Yeah.
So, it takes
So feel free
those-
to take from this anytime.
Okay.
Well, that was fun to have Val stop by and go ahead and drop off some of these beautiful diamonds for us for the shulker farm there. And of course, I honestly forgot about that warp wood farm just sitting in the background. So definitely going to add that to my to-do list. But I think it's probably time that we start building this thing behind me. Well, that's a white box right there. 32 by 32 white square box. yeah, the design's pretty simple. I said it was brutalist, and this is the brutalist style, which is big old bland shapes and colors. So we got big white box with this darker undertone. I kind of had this idea of this white box sitting on like a much smaller thing, kind of like going out. I don't know. It's a scientific facility, so it's not going to stay like this. Don't worry. I'm not just going to make a white box and leave it like that. I'm going to put some details in there, as I mentioned, kind of like grime and stuff. You've probably seen a lot of it. A lot of it's inspired from Bdubs and his brutalist builds that he's made. So I kind of want to emulate some of the stuff that he does there. So we're going to probably put like stairs in certain areas and then put grime underneath it, make some more dirt related grime or green related grime. We'll kind of figure it out as we go along. And then we've got this, which is just kind of the undertone. I have my gamma turned up, but ideally it's going to be dark underneath once we get kind of a roofing to connect this to this, because right now it's floating and we don't want it to float. So I'm going to figure out exactly how I'm going to get that section up and running and where the entrance to this place is. So I'll meet you guys back when I get that. So I did a little bit of the interior work. Let's see. Let's start with the exterior here. I ended up deciding I didn't like the mud. So I liked the mud better for the roof and used deep slate as the siding walls because I think that gives this like metallic-y, reinforced kind of brick sort of thing. That's kind of what I'm going after here. Then of course we got the mud up top because I think that looks better. And this was kind of an original plan of mine, as I think I wanted the mud actually for this section, not for this, but I forgot. And with the gamma turned off, it does look pretty good under there. It's very shady. That's what we want. We're going to turn it back on, though. And then just stone lining it right underneath the building, just to kind of give it something. We also have iron bars, not iron bars, iron trap doors lining the bottom of this just to make it a little bit more visually interesting and just to avoid the bone block texture. I don't think it looks particularly good, at least in this situation. So we ended up changing that out. And then just some deep slate tiles over here to make it a little bit more structurally sound. And I think I like it. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Moving on to the inside. Used glazed terracotta. This is like the first time I think I've ever really used glazed terracotta in a build, like, intentionally. Because it was very hard to pick a block. It was very hard to pick a block for this floor. I went through a lot of different options in my testing world, and I decided that the glazed terracotta in this kind of pattern I really liked. And if we go up, I think it looks really nice. I think it gives that like scientific floor kind of design. And then the iron farm, using deep slate again to kind of give that reinforced metallic, and I ended up making it the whole drop chute there all the way down to here, which that part was already done from previously. Now, for some of the other interior stuff that I like to do, I like to use this blue glass quite a lot to kind of, I don't know, it feels scientific, this just light blue color. My plan is to have a staircase right as you come in. You come in here, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. You have like 4 blocks of leeway. Then I have a staircase that goes up to the second floor. And I kind of want to give the vibe of like, at least for like the first 2 floors maybe, like the one up there and another one, having it be walkways across. I think that would look good. And then the third floor is where we're going to have a cafeteria, which we're going to cut out one of these parts here and have like have it inset a little bit and having this glass there again. For this bottom floor, as you can see, this iron farm is actually not even centered. It is what it is. So the plan is, since this side is bigger, is we're going to have little like research areas, little glass research rooms. I think that could look kind of cool, having those lining the wall here. And then I'm not sure, but maybe have something else going on over on this side. Maybe have like a front desk. I don't know yet. There's still a lot of things to play around with. Obviously, that staircase idea, I may inset it more. I just thought of the idea of if you walked in and there was a reception desk here, I had to kind of figure out exactly where you're going. And exactly how I want the staircase to go. There's a lot of things to plan. I'll meet you guys back here when I get something figured out for at least the first 2 floors. Well, we've done some interior work now, and bam. So I used stone to kind of outline where I wanted all the floors to be and how far apart, as you can see some of the leftovers here, because I don't know what to do for this reception desk. But as I mentioned, we got the reception desk here. We've got some stairs, decided to go with polished andesite. Wasn't a huge fan of polished andesite because of the tileable nature of it, where it's It has squares everywhere. Don't really like the way that looks, but I really like the color. And I am aware that Vanilla Tweaks does have a data pack, or yeah, data pack that allows it so you don't see that. But I didn't want to use that, just because I don't like using packs in that way to change textures of blocks, since no one else is going to be able to see it that way except for me. So I want to try to make it so that way it looks pretty in every size. And I think this does a pretty good job. Now, as we just did, we have a little bit of wrap around here, up there. And I went with the shelves. The nice thing about the shelves is that we can have a nice wide pathway here, even though we only have one block, because we have this on that block, but it's in the middle of the block, and we have this, which is on the other side of the block. For right now, got nothing in here. I plan to have a bunch of different rooms, like kind of a mixture between almost like science rooms that you'd find in high school, like that kind of a vibe where there's just like research areas, places to do science and whatnot. I may swap out some of these to have as glass because I think that would look really cool. And we're basically going to have another layer of this up here. And then this layer is going to be all the way covering the ceiling there, and we'll be some other special stuff for that. But I think this looks kind of good. We went with the blue glass here to kind of, I don't know, it felt sciencey. I like the way the blue glass looks, though. I'm like not 100% sure on it. There's some like here or right up there actually where it's just like it kind of stops because I need to walk there. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to utilize that, and if I actually back upstairs. Right in these two slots, I'm either thinking elevators on both sides would be kind of cool. You had like mechanical go up and down in some way. I think that could sting. Maybe it's the same design that we've already used, but I also wouldn't mind maybe a design. I'm not 100% sure on how to do that and what I'm there, but we do have quite a lot of space. Either that or doing like a bathroom. I may do that since we have the stairs already, and it's not like a whole lot of space, so I may either do a decorational elevator that doesn't work, a functional elevator that might not look as good, but it's functional, or do something else in the space. I'm going to keep building, and I will catch you guys up once I have a pretty good layout of this place. Alright, well, Editor Doug here, so I'm going through editing my video like I normally would, and apparently I'm continuously missing clips in between things. So the last clip that you just saw was me doing a little bit of the interior. Well, I did some more of the interior, figured out the floor layout, and based on that floor layout, I added decorations to the outside of the building, and then I decided to do some decoration to said building. So this next clip is after I've done all of that work, because I can't seem to find those two clips anywhere. So, I'm sorry about that, but enjoy the rest of the video. Goodbye now. Alright, this time we're starting inside instead of outside because the work I've done is to the exterior. And man, oh man, do I have to ask the question, am I Bdubs? Okay, maybe not really, but yeah, we grimified this place. It's grime time, baby. We've got grime in every crevice. There's like, okay, there was a system that I had to do grime, which is why it's not fully complete yet. Basically, under every single fan, there's grime. Under every single AC unit, there's grime. And like this little AC unit is for the tiny little closet that's in here. And yes, every single one of these AC units is to a room of some kind. Now, for these ones, it's a little harder because I have windows on all of its walls. But for the most part, I can get everything in there. And of course, you have like this big O space, which has got a couple AC units. And then we have some pipes running down. I kind of want to have more pipes. But, I mean, as you can see, there's still plenty of spaces on this wall. And to be frank with you, I'm just not sure what else to put on the wall here. This is what I got. This is what I got so far. Now, you'll notice I didn't put any grime on the ceiling at all, like on the top bit here. That's because I wanted to, like, waiting for all of these details to put the grime underneath those. I kind of want to do the same thing, where I want to have the grime influenced by what's around it, and not just kind of thrown on the build for no reason. So I want to make and figure out what I want to do with the roof. Now, I have looked at the Hermitcraft Season 10 world download and the city that Bdubs and Impulse were building, because there's a lot of good details that they added, or specifically Bdubs to his builds on top of those builds that look really cool. And I'm probably going to nab a couple of those designs. But firstly, I need to figure out how to get up there to the roof, like from inside. We'll probably create like a little side passage. that goes up to the roof, and I'm thinking a little hut up there. Let's actually fly up there. I'm thinking once we get up to the roof, there's going to be a little bit of a hut that you kind of come out probably at this corner is what I'm thinking. Have a little bit of like a stone box that you'll just kind of come out of, and then an antenna on top of that, maybe another area with a different antenna, or a couple of them. There's a lot of space up here, and some, other AC units that are more for like a central air kind of thing. And then where those are near the edges, we can have more grime near like where that building is and where those AC units kind of lie. So that way it makes sense for the grime to grime, you know what I mean? So without further ado, let's build. Again, we start on the inside of the building, but that's because I got some stuff done. Yeah, we got details, more details. We like this. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned that I swapped this over to dark oak, because if we go all the way back here, I think the dark oak blends in the best. And even then, like, just the fans, it's an optical illusion. They move without, like, they're all, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And some of the other details I added after the fact was this diorite around the windows, and I think that adds a little bit more texture. Random spots of just mushroom, I think, kind of adds a little extra texture to it, and I think that looks really nice. But the most that I did was on the roof. So as I mentioned, we have this little area that we come out of. It's a little tight in here, but I feel like that makes sense. Got a little tower on top. This almost is kind of exactly taken from Bdubs' city. I had a screenshot of it, and I was like, there's a lot of details of it that I really like. But I added some copper rods in there as well, because I really like the way those look as well. See, I might change this out for the redstone, because, like, the reason that tall buildings have that flashing red light is for planes, so it would make sense to have the red light on the top. So I may move those two around. Some of the other details that we got here are, like, your typical AC units. We had to add these in. These, like, fans that you normally see on top of places, and then we have a few other just random knick-knack details. Once again, kind of screenshots of Bdubs' city and a lot of the details that he added. You know what I mean? Whatever this is supposed to be. Some cauldrons, which I thought about putting water in it, but I think it would be a lot more fun if actual rainfall got caught up in the water here. And so it slowly filled up over time. But essentially, we just kind of had details. Now, you'll still notice a lot of, like, blank patches right here. And I tried making it look nice with, by adding, like, highlights to it with white concrete and white concrete powder. But it didn't look good at all. It didn't look like the highlight that I was going for. I don't know what to put in those spaces at all. So leave a comment down below if you have any ideas on what I can fill in those spaces that would make sense for the area. Of course, I want to make sure that I'm as intentional with placing things. Like, there's a reason certain blocks go in certain areas. But of course, we might have to break that a little bit. Now, I want to change my focus from the exterior back to the interior. Now, I actually don't want to focus on this interior. No, there's a different interior. What this whole building is placed upon. What we actually want to fix, which is the iron farm itself. Okay, I was a little scared there. This looks kind of ugly. I ain't gonna lie with you. This is kind of ugly. Now, this is kind of nice. You already know the redstone that's over here. But it would be kind of nice to make this whole area looking a lot more pretty. Now, my idea is to have a staircase that goes down. We could do a water elevator and all that, but I think it would be more interesting if we had to actually walk through the whole place. Granted, we'll have an elytra so we can easily fly up and down if we're too lazy, but I like the idea of having, like, copper scaffolding kind of lining the walls and going around, and I intentionally made sure that there was a gap on the walls in most places, so I didn't have to dig out another layer for the wall, but I could easily just place it along this edge. Now, there are some areas, like right here, where that won't be the case, but I think we can easily cover it up, and it might be a little nice to see the redstone there. So, I now need to figure out a design for this little place here. That's a little loud. But I need to figure out a design. So I'm going to start placing blocks and see which ones look good next to each other. And I'll let you know if I came up with anything. Alright, I figured out what blocks I wanted to use, and you could probably tell by their orientation what I want to do with them. So without further ado, let's start the music and roll the time lapse. And just like that, the gradient is finished. Can't really see down here, so we're going to go into free cam over here. So, as you saw from the time lapse, we went and just kind of put all the layers together and started meshing it together. And right after I finished the time lapse, I ended up doing all of these guys. Just got finished getting all the way down here, and now we have I think it's an okay gradient, excuse me, sir, that's going down from stone into a much larger deep slate layer, and then all of these blocks are just to transition into the black. Now, I do have an idea for what to do once we get into this black zone here, but before I do that, I need to figure out how we're going to get that all the way up there to all the way down here. Because I need a way to actually get to the iron storage itself. And as you can see, it's actually producing quite a lot of things for us. Now, anvils are really slow at production, and we need to start worrying about overflow of chains and that, though we still have a few chests of buffer. So I think the next step is to remove all of the blocks that we don't need, like all of these tough blocks that aren't currently being used on the edge here. Remove those so I know where I can put certain blocks and start getting a kind of wooden, rickety old mine shaft kind of walkway that's going to head all the way past all these iron farms. And then all the way down to here, which I think I may actually have it enter a cave and have this section kind of be inside of a cave with a little bit of it being able to see these guys. Yeah, they're not the smartest gems, but you know, they do their job. Alright, so I'm going to start tearing things out and putting things in, and I'll meet you guys back here once I get that done. So, funny story, I actually realized that I forgot to mention that I made an entrance to the iron farm. So, yeah, there's this nice little passage. Let's go ahead and add the mood lighting on. Yeah, it's pretty dark in here. It's a nice little passage. You gotta squeeze your way through, and if you're curious how iron golems aren't spawning in here, string prevents iron golems from spawning. So I put string in the areas where they can spawn, and that's preventing them, and of course glow lichen all around to actually prevent other mobs from spawning. But yeah, you really gotta squeeze through here in order to get here. And then up this way, we are now in this portion of the iron farm, which is really nice. And this, actually, now that I think about it, I should probably get rid of those. But if we go down this way, squeeze our way through just a little further down here, you'll see if we can get there. Okay, there we go. You'll see we've made some progress. Now I'm going to turn the gamma back on so we can actually see what I've done. But yeah, we got that little like tunnel system going from the top all the way down into the actual iron farm itself. I've got these kind of like scaffolds that go all the way from the bottom all the way up to here, and then a bridge that kind of droops down. I kind of wanted to do like the fence droop that people do, but with this being slabs and trapdoors, I didn't know how good that was actually going to look. Nor do I actually know really what that should be looking like, so I may do that. But the true difficulty is figuring out how to connect this portion all the way down there. So I got to figure out how to get from here to there. So the current idea is I'm going to build a rocky formation, kind of like, you know, over here somewhere, and have a cave entrance right about at this level here, which is going to swoop down and enter right on this corner here into this area. And this is all going to be inside of the rocks, and we'll make that look all nice. And then from there, I'll need to connect up this portion to that. But I want to build that. I want to build that rocky little formation there, so I have the start, the end, and then it's just about figuring out what to do in the middle. And we are in the interior to our new iron farm storage system. Yeah, it's a cave in here. I like the way that it looks. We got a lot of design going on, but it's very dark, so you can't see most of it, which is intentional. Got these guys working hard up here doing their thing, hoping they don't get stuck. And of course, the wall of chests. Now, if we make our way out of here, which typically is pretty smooth other than some bumps here and there, we get to see this. There's a rickety old place here, you know what I mean? It's rickety, it's old, not the best thing. So it's looking quite nice. Just kind of basically the design we had going from the first Ruby Bridge and expanded that down. Of course, these ones are just going up to each different layer because that's kind of how they were built, at least in my head canon. That's how that works. And so it's just as simple as walking through, and then we got little staircases that you can walk through. I made sure to block it off so you can just like walk off. Now this is actually exception, I just realized, but typically you're not going to be walking out of there. Now you might want to ask a very important question. How are there no iron golems spawning on this? I mean, they're right there. How are they still spawning in there? Well, that's where things get really, really exciting. You see, the fun thing is, the iron golems can only spawn on these blocks here. Because once we get to these blocks, it's actually out of the range of villager spawning. So, because of that, I thought I was going to have to put a bunch of string around here. For those of you who don't know, string actually prevents iron golems. That's what I had to do tops of these portions here, because they were really close to that. I had to get that villager. So yeah, we just, by having the signs here, the iron golems can't spawn on top of these. It can't spawn on top of the lantern here, or an anvil, because they're not full blocks. So it's like, oh, can't spawn there, so it goes there. And as you can see, if this guy gets it, it's right there. I tell you, while building this, that ghast kept flying in front of my freak every single time, and I'm like, I'm trying to look at what I'm trying to build, and it's there in front of my face. But if we make our way all the way to the top, it actually doesn't take nearly as long as you'd think to top to bottom, because quite smooth getting up here. Now, it is a pretty far way, and I will cover that up. Don't worry, that won't be open. We're going to be doing that next. There is one final detail that I would like to add to make this look really nice. So I think the only option is to go ahead and just like that, you can barely even see it, but that means it's doing its job well. If we turn gamma on for a second there, you can see we've got ourselves a fog effect down there. And if you turn off the gamma, this place is quite dark, but that is the intention. The iron farm rests right here. We obviously have the unfortunate accident over there, and this place is looking quite lovely. That's going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. That'll be all. Bye. That was a pretty good episode. I got a lot done. I got everything done that I needed to get done. Oh, that's right. I never got the interior. Gosh. Oh,